And here is kind of what we're going to be working towards in Unit 3. So all the math that the kiddos should be learning. So this was the pre-assessment that they took. And again, this will give you an idea as to what we're looking at. I probably won't go through the whole thing, just maybe give you some examples here and there. So one of the things that we want the kids to do is be able to read, write the number, name, base 10 numeral, and expanded form through the decimal place of thousandths. It's a tricky one to say. It has that th at the end. Thousandths. So for example, if we wanted to write this as a decimal, we would need to include a few things. First, the whole number, which is 4, the decimal point, which is and, okay, and then we're going to need to know place value. So we're going to need to know tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. So this would be 4 and 37. Hundredths. Okay, so the kids should start to be getting comfortable saying these things. They should understand the place value system down to thousandths and what that means. So for example, over here, this is expanded form. So what this is saying is that 2 times 1, which is 2, plus 3 times 1/10, which is 3/10, plus 4 times 1/100th, plus 9 times 1/1000th, that all equals a number. And that number is 2 and 3, 4, 9. 3/10, 4 100ths, 9 1,000ths altogether. Okay, so this expanded form, why that's important is this starts to give kids a nice kind of picture of algebra and how taking apart a number, what that means, and that we, in all numbers, it's this form of multiplying multiplying by some sort of base of 10, be it 1, 10, 100, 1,000, or even smaller, 1/10, 1/100th, 1/1000th, but always going down or up by a factor of 10. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to be looking at is being able to compare decimals. So understanding that we first start with the digit to the farthest left and see if those are equal. So if I have a 3, these both have a 3 in the ones column. So then I go to the next column, which is my friend the tenths. And so if I'm looking here, oh sorry, need to get my plug. Did that stop? No. If I'm looking here, I see a 0 and a tenth, I see an 8 over here, so that automatically tells me that this is greater. Okay, here, this one will be interesting. Oh, hey. Hi. Did I pause it?
How are you?
Very well, how are you? Okay, so here, what happens a lot with kids is they see this as 16 and 4. And that is not what we want, because if we look at a number line and we want to like look at 0.5 or something like that, 0.4 is right next to it. 0.16 is like way over there. So this one can be a tricky one if you're not following along. So if I look at my ones, zeros, I look at my tenths, this is 4, easy peasy, because I'm thinking about it. If I just react to it, I'm like, oh, 16 is more than 4. And then here, again, going one by one, ones are the same, tenths are the same, hundredths, this one is more. Okay, so it's just the process of just going step by step and looking at them. Next thing that we're going to want them to learn is where stuff goes on the number lines. This is number sense. This is your ability to think and reason with numbers. Very important skill. What I always like to do is look at half, and I know that's 0.5. So here I like to go in order. So 0.891 is probably about here. Ooh, this one's teeny tiny, 0.042. We got 0.4, which is almost half. And then we have 0.246, which is right in between those two. And so that's that. Rounding. So rounding, a lot of problems you'll see is kids not rounding the whole number. So to the nearest one here, we're going to go to 5. Sometimes they'll say 5 and then they'll go 0.946, so they don't have that understanding of what the whole number is. To the nearest tenth, so that's looking at that number, 0.9, and right next door is a 4, so that's going to be 4.9. And then nearest hundredth. So I need to know where my hundredth is. I look to the right. Oops, sorry. I see it's a 6. So I'm going to go up 4 and 95 hundredths. Here again, nearest 1, so that's going to be 3. Nearest tenth, so that's a 0 and a 5 next door, so that's going to be 3 and 1/10. And then nearest hundredth, so that's going to keep it here. A really good way to learn this that we'll be showing them is a number line. So kind of drawing it out, thinking about where that hundredth is, thinking about where that number is, and moving it there. Find the answer to each problem, show your work. So again, this will be where we use a lot of those strategies I talked about. So instead of doing 4 and 62 hundredths plus 2 and 99 hundredths, I'm going to change that to, I'm going to give and take. I'm going to give 0.01, so I have to take 0.01. 461 plus 3. And so that's going to give me 7 and 61 hundredths. Here, I'm going to subtract. So I could do constant difference. So I'm going to go up to 7 and 99 hundredths. So I added 0.1. So I need to add 0.1 here to make this 3.3. Give me 4 and 69 hundredths. Same sort of thing here. So finding sums and differences, just using the strategies that we taught them. Here we're going to be talking about powers of 10. So understanding what happens when we divide and multiply by tens. Thinking about this in what this is called a ratio table. So it's telling us how much one ticket is worth. And then they want to think of how much is 10. What's this? How much is 1,000? And this is 10,000. And when we're multiplying or dividing by 10, don't ever tell your kid you're adding 0. Please, please, please don't say it. Because it's not true. You're not adding a 0. You're shifting the number down one place value. So we're not adding a 0 to this number. We're shifting the whole thing down 1. So my 2 goes to the 10s, my 4 goes to the 1s. Okay, and I go from $2.40 to $24. The next step, 240, that would be by 100. By 1,000 is going to give me 2,400. So again, shifting everything down one space to the left. And then my 10,000 is 24,000. And again, we'll be talking and asking them questions about why this works the way it does, getting them to understand the place value, being able to go from meter to centimeters. Again, this is all multiplying and dividing by factors of 10. So by 10, 100, 1,000. So being able to go understand what's happening to that number, to increase, to make it shift to the left and increase, or shift to the right and decrease. And what else? This is kind of the continuing work of the year, is this idea of dividing. So they'll be able to choose a problem and then do some activities down here to kind of do this. I think I'll probably do a separate video to kind of explain the division work that we're going to do and what that would look like when the time comes. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, as always, let myself or Milena know. Where's the camera? There it is. Bye.